Hi all, it's Scott. Welcome back to S3 Model Works. Unfortunately, you're probably not going to see much of my smiling face tonight, but here we go with my very first ever YouTube model review. This is Academy's P-38, 4 different versions. It's an alternative kit. You know, I like it. I like a challenge. I know it's not the Tamiya one. I don't really care. I knew what I was getting into when I got into the kit. It's got 4 very cool versions on it. 2 of them are P-38Js, which are both attack aircraft, and then actually I think the second J is a droop snoot, and then there is a Pathfinder version and also a photo recon version. The kit looks to come with all 4 of the noses, so regardless of which one you build, hell, I might build the other 3 up and just show them as an auxiliary display. But anyway, we're going to have a quick trip through the sprues here tonight. This is the A sprue, consisting of the upper and lower wing. Sorry about the glare from my overhead light. As you can see, those are the turbocharger cutouts, so the turbochargers are obviously molded separately. That's a nice little thing. There's some detail on there. There's some good recessed detail. There's a little bit of rivet around the main seams. This looks like the basis for the landing gear buildup. There's some good relief in there too. You know, there's some good depth of detail, some good contour, nice decently hard plastic, good reinforcing points. Gates look nice and tiny. When I looked at it just briefly earlier, there's only a couple of places where I even saw ejector pen marks that are going to be a problem, and unfortunately one of them is on the seat of the cockpit, but that might give me an opportunity to play with metal some more. You never know. Onto the B sprues, and these are sister sprues. These are the booms, the tail booms. 2, as you can see. There's also about the same level of detail on these. There's good cut panel lines in there, some rivet, good depth on the scoops, it looks like. You know, that's not bad for a $28 kit, and God bless my boss at the hobby shop. He gives us these things dirt cheap, but you know, again, as you can see, the ejector pen marks where they're placed, really not going to be a problem. All this area inside the landing gear, that's built up with internal panels, which we'll see in a couple of sprues here. Anyway, there's the B's. These are all the different iterations of the noses, and to be honest with you, I'm not sure exactly which one's which. I think that is the F5E Photo Recon version. This appears to be the droop snoot, I think. No, the Pathfinder. And this guy with the glass is the droop snoot. And then this guy is the 5-gun. I believe that's 450s and a 20mm cannon in there. And the front cowls. I took a rough measurement of it earlier. It measures just under 13 across wingspan, and by the time you get everything said and done with the spinners and the tail booms, it's going to be pushing 8.5, 9 long. So it's a decent sized model for 48 scale. But sorry if I can get it to focus here. That's some pretty decent depth of clarity and casting. That's nice, in my opinion. Personally, I like these kits. I like a challenge. It's not going to open up real well, but it'll probably super detail real nice. So anyway, those are the C's. And the kit came with the top tier of the D sprue attached. This is basically the air scoops, the individual turbochargers, individually cast, with some fairly nice detail and a lot of depth in there. Those look really good for plastic cast parts. And then of course the rocket tubes, and actually those are not rocket tubes, if I'm not mistaken. Those are phosphorus target markers. They're Willie Pete. They're big Willie Pete rockets, man, that show everybody else where to blow shit up. So there you go. Anyway, on to the second part of D. And that is basically options for drop tanks, the rear wing that sits in between the booms. This is the landing gear detail. There's two different versions of outer doors up here. I don't know if you guys can see that. This one has a little hump right up here. This one doesn't. But when you flip them over, you can see one of them has this sort of interior detail, this sunken well type of stuff, which I really like, but the other side has this riveting. And as you can see, even the injector pin marks here, by the time you get a strut in there and sand those down a little bit, maybe wrap some super detail wire around there, that'll look pretty damn good. That's what I really like about these kits. I mean, for a value-based kit, this isn't bad. Is it Academy? Yeah. And I hear a lot of people poo-poo this. You know, I only build Tamiya, and I understand that. There's fans of everything. There's kits that I like too. But in my eyes, if you guys notice on the box real quick here, and some of you I'm sure have been modeling way longer than I have and probably already know this, but on that box is, oops, I'm taking pictures here, I'm sorry, I don't mean to do that. Okay, that's the model rectifier cork out of Edison, New Jersey. Now, in my experience, very early in modeling, from probably about 75 and 76 on, MRC and Tamiya were merged, and to be honest with you, I think it was a great height of production and molding in Tamiya's history that quite honestly, I think they're only now getting their edge back on with some of their releases, but they've been releasing, you know, whatever, reboxed kits for years and years. But anyway, on with this interview. Where were we? This is E, I believe. We just finished D? Yeah, this is E. This is real neat. Individual props. Individual hubs. Two spinners. That looks like landing gear detail. Got one little detached sprue on that largest strut right there, but that's okay. I'll be breaking these down later, so they'll store nice. That's some pretty nice detail on those wheels as well. And look at that. It looks like they got the hex pattern on the Pacific Campaign tires right. That's an interesting difference from the other kit we were just talking about. At least from reviews that I've seen. And I'll be a son of a bitch. I'm not an expert on the P-38, but I was browsing through one of the Squadron publication books the other day, and look at that. They even got the square pattern on the front tire, right, as opposed to the hexagonal pattern on the sponson wheels. Bravo Tamiya. I'm sorry, not Tamiya, Bravo Academy. Good for you guys. One-piece rockets. That looks like the other side of the front wheel, sorry. That looks like some of the cockpit detail. That looks like it might be a bit of a disappointment, but again, you know, a detailing guy like me, yeah, that does good. Looks like another option for maybe a center sponson tank, along with, oh, the gun barrels, the seat, the back of the cockpit. Looks like some radio stuff. Oh, there you go, right on the seat. Big injector pin, right in front of both the cast bucket and the actual seat back, right here. Boy. Anyway, that's the E sprue. Let's move on to F and see what we got. F is, these are the interior components of the landing bay gear buildup, as looks like they've got solid piping in there too on both of those. Again, what I think is decent detail. Literally, this kit retails at my boss's shop for $28.99. And I get a bit of a discount on that. Looks like there's another nose option. I'm not sure which one the kit calls out for. I just made sure all the sprues were here. I didn't really look at every single piece. That's all the backside of nothing, so let's look at something fun. Looks like individual well cast, at least 250 if not 500-pound bomb fins with their hard points and the bombs. Very good. There's more tires. Oh, look at that. We got smooth versions of tires too. What a nice, interesting option that could be. Good deal. Good deal. Oh, look at that. It's got the big radio setup. I'm not sure actually if that's radios or cameras for the Pathfinder, but probably for one of those Recon versions. That looks like the front sponson of the cockpit. Anyway, that's it for the sprues. Let's take a quick look at the glass. There's two different sprues of glass. I was a little unimpressed when I took them out of the bag, actually when I just cut them open. They looked a little foggy, but now that I'm getting them out from behind this bag, I think I'm going to change my mind. They do look a little bit foggy, but I'm willing to bet you those will clean up very, very nicely, and those do have decent details. Those will burnish over very nicely with tape, making masking much easier. When I had a look through the instructions earlier, there were two things that caught my eye immediately, and one is there's a 5-piece canopy construction. As you can see, this is the is that the Pathfinder nose? I'll be damned. I'm not sure. Anyway, that's one of the big glass noses, but look at that. I'm not sure that entire thing is going to be clear, though. I think that's part of the Photo Recon nose, maybe as an option. I really do, because that should be a Trailblazer nose. That little guy looks like a mini B-17G late model nose. But anyway, that's the glass. Lastly, let's have a quick look at the instructions. They're real simple. But you know, honestly, what I was saying earlier about MRC and their merge with Tamiya, and it's been a long, long time, you know, I mean, I'm not even sure anybody that watches this video remembers or even was born way back then, but anyway, it looks real simple. There's cockpit and weapons options, so drill out whichever ones you want. You gotta figure it out, either for the Droop Snoot Pathfinder or the Photo Recon. The mating of the cockpit with the interior details, more J-only versions. That'll be for the guns version, which is a very cool version. I just might do that. And then third step, we're into landing gear. That looks like some decent detail already there, but with some additional wire and or painting and TLC, that'd probably dress up real nice. I forgot to mention too, and show it to you on the parts, the inside of the landing bay doors. There is one ejector pin mark that's in a pretty naked spot out there in the end, but those have some good interior detail on them as well. So there's the bays going in the sponsons. Color callouts. I'm not sure whose colors they're referring to. I do my own research for the most part, taking their considerations into consideration. And that's all. So anyway, this is the other part that sort of scared me a bit. This is not only the the 5-piece attachment of the canopy. This is also as you can see, upper and lower wing, each sponson, 2 cowls. So what is that, a 6-piece body together, and you don't even add the metal sponson section until later on in this step. There's some options for the different models. There's the J with the guns version, the J Droop Snoot, the Pathfinder, the Photo Recon, again more color callouts, and there we have the mating of the center sponson. That rear tail looks like our wheels and struts, and the rear tail's horizontal stabilizers, as well as any decals. You know, the instrument panels, they're not overwhelmingly good. This thing might do good with some PE. I don't think I'm going to start it immediately, although I'll probably love it up some and trim the sprues so it fits nice in the box. Those are all weapons options, either for the Vulcan fin aerials or the, I'm sorry, those aren't FFRs, those are just aerial rockets. Anyway, the rocket pods, the one drop tank, the one center drop tank is an option, which is neat. Actually, that's 2. Those are the ones on the wings then, and then that other bad boy, I forget where it was, that other smaller fuel tank. Anyway, those are the noses unassembled as they should appear, and those look like the noses more closely assembled as they should appear. Actually, that droop snoot looks pretty good. If that clear piece looks good on there, I just might do that freaking camera. I always did kind of dig that one because the decals on this thing, we'll get to them in a minute, but I'm underwhelmed. Sorry guys, I'm trying to keep this thing under 20 minutes at this point. That's the last page of the instruction, which is basically just all the bits and bobs. Adding the spinners, the turbochargers, and again the call-outs for, again, the other J, the Pathfinder, the Photo Recon. Nice armament diagram base and their positioning on the wings and sponsons. That'll help get you step 1 lined up out of the way, as you can see. Step 1, step 2, 3, 4. So you should probably refer to this if you're gonna dress yours up any particular way. But there it is, and there's the painting and decal placement for what looks like, is that the Putt-Putt Maru? Shoot, I don't know. I guess it is. But anyway, I'm going to look at some decal options, but anyway, these are the placements, and it looks like all the decals in this sheet are all with natural metal finish, so you could probably do anything you wanted with any of them. And there's a sprue map for you. And let's see, we'll take a quick look at the decals and call this thing done. Here's one last map of, this is the other P-38J, the droop snoot, the callouts there. There's a Pathfinder version with its color callouts, and again the Photo Recon version. So some decent information in there. I mean, from Academy and MRC, you know, good job, guys. I'm not disappointed. I may look for some PE and maybe even some resin on this thing. That would be really my very first foray into a lot of that stuff. Here's the decals, and I know there's a little bit of glare attached to them, so I'm just going to sort of leave them there. Ooh, that's bad. I'm so sorry, guys. I'm trying. Anyway, the register looks good, but the colors look a bit off to me. But the detail's not bad. Carrier film is probably, you know, nowhere on here does it say Cartograph, and this thing I believe was a 2003 release. So, yeah, there you go, 2003 Academy. I'm not sure what the stamp on the inside says. Printed in Korea, not Cartograph. Anyway, that's my review, guys. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, leave me a thumbs up, a like, throw a comment in there. The reason I did the video is because there just aren't a lot of good ones out there, so maybe this one helps somebody who's vacillating on the Tamiya release, or the pre-release, I should say, because for a kit that's slated to hit here anywhere between 76 and 82 bucks on the market for this value price, big thumbs up, sideways thumbs up, but yeah, hang loose, bro. Anyway, guys, thanks for tuning in, and I'll chat at you a little later. Enjoy the update. Bye.